Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today I want to talk about shooting 90 metres and the problems I have with shooting 90 metres. So the 90 metre round is not a normal round, okay? It's going back in time when it was part of the Olympics. That's changed, right? So today they only shoot 70 metres for recurve, 50 for compound, which seems stupid to me because compound has a lot more power and you're shooting that at a short distance. Seems stupidity. And people think up these things. I would have had compound shooting longer and recurve shooting shorter, but that's what it is. Okay, so 90 metres. What's the problems and why are we shooting it? At an archery club, the average round people shoot is 30 metres, right? That's the average person. Very few people are back at 70 metres and 90 metres, okay? So a lot of clubs can't even shoot 90, right? But for the state championship, I have to shoot 90. My son has to shoot 90. And so I'm going to talk about some of the issues which I had today. So I like to discuss problems. And that way, if you have these same problems, then there's a video where I've discussed it. Okay. So the problem I have and the problem you'll have when you shoot 90, especially with a recurve and probably with a compound, is your sight pin is really close to the arrow. Right, so this is my 90 metre sight setting. Now, normally what you do is you move your sight in towards the bow, okay, because that gives you even more range, okay. Now, my son is, having to aim high on the target to hit 90 metres with a compound. With a recurve, you're anchoring lower, so you've got more range, right? But the bow's significantly slower. My bow probably shooting 200 feet per second, where a compound's up towards 300 feet per second. Okay, so what problems did I have today? So my problem is when I aim at the target, if I aim any more than 2 seconds, I can't see the target. It just blanks out and all I can see is my nose, which is a problem. Now, I have had this problem before and I've done research and it's come up with I've got eye problems, I've got a brain problem. Look, it could be that my eye is having trouble focusing between the sight and the target down range. So I was there trying to get my sight settings, trying to practice 90 because I have when I say I have no problems, I have very little problems here. I've had this problem before at a nationals when I concentrate too much, I couldn't see the target. Someone said it was to do with you not blinking enough. Anyway, so I'm just disgusted. So I couldn't get off a lot of the shots, and a lot of the shots I had to take blind, so I couldn't actually see what I was aiming at. So I could see when I was aiming, crystal clear. When I pull back the target, I can see the sight pin. I can see the target crystal clear. And then when I'm holding all the tension in the body, basically all I can see is basically my nose and I can't see. Now, if I open this eye, it puts the sight pin way across. That's got to do with eye dominance. So then I'm thinking, well, maybe I could aim with this eye, the left eye, and see. And I'm probably going to try that. The problem with aiming on your left eye, and there's some people who are blind in one eye and they actually aim with the other eye, is your alignment. You're generally lining up your string with the bow to make sure everything's in a line. If I aim with this eye, I would need to move my sight miles to the left to hit the target, miles to the left, because my sight pin is miles to the right as soon as I open this eye, left eye, because you normally, right-handed person will aim with the right eye. So I was struggling making the shots. Now, just shooting a few shots at 90 metres, I've got problems with my muscles. They really hurt. Because I was trying so hard, I had to let down. Where at home, shooting short distance, no problem. I'm just bang, bang, bang. I could shoot all day. So then I'm thinking, well, maybe I shoot a lighter poundage bow. And so this is where I'm at. Because a heavier bow, this bow is 51 pounds, does not mean it's going to be easy to shoot longer distance. Because the arrows are heavier. So basically, the speed is going to be about the same with a lighter bow and a heavier bow. So I want to just talk about what I've done so far and what I'm going to do, all right? So that's where my sight pin is, way down the bottom, all right? So I came home and I went up close to the target, 1 or 2 meters away. And I am right at the bottom target, on my target bar. and then I look and I see what the problem is. So, and it was hard for me to see. It was hard for me to see. So the problem is, where I'm up to, is when I am here, it's easy to see because it's a straight line. But when I'm aiming at this part of the riser down here, it's hard for me to see, okay? So, and I don't know if that's because of the shape of my nose or if this is a common problem with everyone. Basically, with a compound, you don't have this problem because you're shooting side on, your string's slightly in a different position. You're up here, you're not looking downwards. I've never had it with a compound, right? Different problems with the compound shooting 90 meters, but just discussing the recurve side. Okay, so I've now moved back to 18. I've just come home. My right eye is very sore, like it's painful. So it caused massive eye strain for me. I'm going to say probably only shot 36 arrows, and I've got a headache. I've got eye strain on my right eye. It's very sore, just from those few arrows, because my eye was trying to focus and couldn't see, and that's where I'm up to. So just going to grab my fingertip. So what I'm doing is I've moved back to 18 meters. So I've come back here, headache, eye strain, and I don't enjoy that. I've never had the eye strain before, right? So, like I said, it was only about 30 arrows I shot. So I'm thinking about solutions. I'm thinking about different sight pins. So maybe if I shoot like a wider sight pin, which is clear with just a fiber optic, I'll be focusing in the distance more rather than moving my eye backwards to forward. So when you normally focus, your eye looks at the sight and then looks at the target. It's going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. So part of me is thinking, well, is it because it's so far and my eye's having to do so much focusing in a distance, and I'm getting older, as opposed to short distance where my eyes moving less distance. So that's part of my thought process. So I thought, well, let's come home and just see how it feels. Now, one of the other issues is when you shoot longer distance, your angle that you're aiming at is different. So sometimes, I'm going to say sometimes, it's harder to get the shot off, okay? Because you might be shortening your draw length and you're pulling through a clicker. So when you have a problem, you can ask people, you can do research, and that's why I do the videos. Because people have probably had this issue before. I've never heard of it before, so that's why I thought I'd do this video. But when I started recurve, I was very much in the dark. So I'm just going to move my sight now to, and I tried my sight in and out. So as soon as you move your sight in, your pin goes up. I tried that, and it really didn't help much, right? Because basically it's still in the same sort of point, which is near the arrow. And I'm sort of looking down to see, which kind of makes no sense. But anyway, let's just try 18 meters. And I'll tell you what I'm going to try next. So I'm also going to shoot up close, and we'll do this in the video. So, but let's just see at 18 meters how it feels. Right, so it's completely clear. There's no issues with my nose. Right. It's all good. So I'm there at the range, not being able to see because of my nose. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I need my head straighter and I need to be anchoring down the side. So when I aim with a recurve, I'm down the middle of my nose. So I've got this mark on my nose where it sort of comes into. And I was thinking, well, maybe I pull on the center, right, on the corner more, so I come around further. But then with 51 pounds, I'm struggling doing that. And 90 meters, you don't want to test stuff at 90. So I was like, well, I'll go home and I'll experiment. All right, I'll think about this. So this is me at 18 meters thinking about this problem. And note on a world stage, you don't have to shoot 90 meters. It's just a leftover thing. It's It's in men in the nationals still in Australia, and it's most countries don't have 90 anymore, and it's in the state. And for me to have a chance to win the state, I have to win the target, right? So I've got to shoot 90 well, and that's my problem. I can't see. I'm shooting blind. So yeah, right. So I can see clear. I'm going to close my left eye. And the concept of actually aiming with my left eye is an interesting one that I haven't thought about before. Just because I haven't had this problem before. And that's just as clear, right? So now I'm going to go up close. So let's go up close. And we'll move the sight right down to the bottom. So the grouping, that grouping's fine, it's all good. Now my sight from 90 to 18, like there's my arrows there. If you can see them, they're pretty good. Like it's pretty much in the middle. So that means my left and right is pretty good. So that's like walk back tuning, if you've ever heard of that. So I'm like, we'll move up even closer to the target so you can sort of see my stabilizer can almost touch the target. So when you walk back in tune, you want your arrows to stay in a straight line, because what will often happen if you don't have your plunger set correctly, and when I say set correctly, left and right, and the tune, the tension, it's very hard with recurve. As you move back, your arrows will move left or they'll move right. With a compound, that occurs when the sight is often at an angle. But it's like that's 90 meters down to 18. It's pretty much spot on, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to move my sight way down the bottom at 134, which is, so I've moved from the top to the bottom of the scale. Now some people with recurve sights buy the little ones. Don't get it, right? I know why they do it, because they're like, well, I only shoot 70 meters. But then when you go to shoot like field or something, you need the full range, then you buggered yourself. And the sight is no cheaper, so I don't know why you do it. Now for me, I've got that sight as well in my shop. And I've never sold one, but it seems that the other shops can sell them well, because I guess they don't care about the archer. I'm not having to go at them when I sound like I am. But it's like, it just doesn't make sense. Didn't you explain it to the archer that this is going to be a problem when you shoot from long distance to short distance? And the answer is no, they didn't explain it to the archer. But anyway, so I'm going to aim at the bottom target. I'm a meter away from the target, right? I've got my sight on 90 meters, so the arrow is going to shoot high, okay? It's going to shoot high, so I aim at the bottom target. This is a 3-spot target face. It's a Vegas, like a indoor target face, 1, 2, 3. I aim at the bottom one. I'm going to hit the middle one. Okay, I'm just looking to see what happens, and I'm actually going to aim for a bit to see if the sight picture disappears. And yes, it does. It disappears straight away. This is what happened to me. It's like I can't see. It's like it's in the way. Okay, so then the question comes. Now, I don't know if it's because I've got a scientific mind. I'm not saying, like I've got a science degree, but it's like, these are the things you've got to look at, right? And I'm just working through options. So I'm like, well, maybe if I had faster arrows, faster bow, I wouldn't have this problem. And I'm thinking about other options. Well, instead of aiming on the target face, I could aim above the target, okay? So now I'm thinking about options, all right? Because obviously, well, this is rubbish. Because as soon as I get into my anchor point, my nose blocks the thing, and I could have surgery to reduce the size of my nose, which would probably be a good thing, but I can't see. So the question is, how far up can I see? Now at 70 meters, I think it was pretty good. So I'm going to move my sight to 70 meters, which was a 98 marking. So 98, still going to shoot high, so I'm going to aim low. elbow release. So at 70 meters, the sight's starting to get in the way. So I can shoot 70, but the nose is starting to get in the way. Okay, so this is where I'm thinking. Got a few thoughts, which I'll share with you. All the options I think of. So when there's a problem, I think, well, what's all the solutions I have to fix it? I don't know if it's because of my dad or what. This is what I think, right? So I'm like, well, I could get some 3D HV arrows. They shoot 20 feet per second faster than these arrows. Okay, they're very light. 20 feet per second. I could get some Yucca limbs. Yucca limbs are 20 feet per second faster. Now we're talking 40 feet per second faster. And I'm very keen to try that, right? Because last time I shot 90 meters, the guys with Yucca limbs kicked my butt at 90 meters. And I probably couldn't see the target. But they kicked my butt, and then all the other distances I caught up, right? So I convincingly beat them at the other distance, but 90 I got flogged. I don't want to get flogged at 90, right? Because I'm not that much better than the archer who I'm competing against that I could afford to give up points at 90. Right, so that's one of the things I'm thinking. Now, what's been done before, I'm going to show, is people have put the sight on in reverse. So the sight, instead of pointing forward, points backwards. Right, like this on the bow. Right? The sight's upside down because it goes left to right, but that's okay. So we're going to move this down. Now, how do I know how far down it's to move? Because I need to aim at the bottom one, I need to hit the top one. That's with the same speed arrows. Now if I increase the speed of the arrows, that means it's going to increase the elevation. I won't need the sight down as low, so I'll probably be fine at 90 and definitely be fine at 70. So here, so I've moved the sight here, let's move it in a bit. So back in the old days when I was young, the sights always came on the back, and then people went, well, actually that's more accurate, put them out the front. So now my sight pin will be obviously the wrong way because it's a fibre optic, but that's okay. Now the other thought I had was what's actually happening is my eye's having trouble focusing forward to back. That's obviously not the case because I'm really close to the target here and I still can't see. So I was thinking about different size sight pins, like just getting a little basic sight pin instead of a fancy sight pin. But anyway, so I've moved the sight back, so like so. So let's try this at 90 meters. Well, that's what I could see. Obviously, I don't rehearse these videos. What I could see was the stabilizer in the sight pin. So that means I'm aiming really high. So that means this would have to be a lot higher up. So let's try it up there. Let's try it up here. Okay. Had trouble seeing whether it's in the right spot or not. I'm just going to try it again because the arrow went straight through the target. I'm just going to aim at a different spot in the target. Okay, so that's about the right spot. Now I can actually see. because what's happening is moving the sight up, so it's here instead of down here, so I can actually see. But you don't want to be blind when you shoot. It's not. There's blind archery, but that's a whole different thing on how they aim. So, I mean, what I'm thinking now, instead of being so far in, my sight's very much in towards the riser here. I'm thinking, well, if my sight was further out, would it be easier to see? The answer is yes, it would be. So that would mean detuning my bow, so I can move the sight pin out. Okay, so my next option would be, instead of aiming with this eye, to aim with this eye at 90 meters. Let's try that. Let's just try, because I'm close to the target. So I'm close, so I'm here. Let's move the sight back out the front and try aiming with a different sight, different eye. Now, this is not stuff you do normally, right? This is 90 meters. I've got a problem, I'm blind, right? So I've got to come up with a solution. Faster bow, different. One of the solutions I had was to shoot compound and throw in the recurve. That was certainly one of the concepts I came up with. Or just not shoot long distance, right? So I'm going to move my sight down to where it is. And then I'm going to aim with this eye. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sight on the far left. So I'm going to, when I aim here, so there, and then when I change my sight pin aims to the left. So it aims to the left that far. So all I've got to do is aim on that sight pin, aim on the bottom of the target to an inch, right? Now that would be bigger at 90 meters, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my sight pin to aim with this eye. So my theory would be I'd have two sight blocks, one for 90 and one for 70. Crazy stuff, right? This is the thing, right? I'm going to say arguments with people, conversations with people. We've got a massive algae bloom here, like there's a dead dolphin just on the beach in front of me. I'm 200 meters away from the beach and there's a dead dolphin, right? Dolphin dead because there's an algae there. Hundreds of fish are dying. The algae's been there for 9 months and the government does less than nothing, right? They spend money on TV commercials. And if you support the left, well, good on you, right? But all I want is people to come up with options. Try stuff. If it doesn't work, you go, look, we tried that, I'm going to try something else. That's it. I just want you to try stuff. It's not even between left and right. I'm not, like, I complained heaps about the right-wing government when it was in. They were fining businesses, the COVID rules, they were changing every day. I was like, this is stupidity. This algae bloom is stupidity, right? And the fact that people align themselves left or right is stupidity in my mind. You should be debating concepts and what you're going to do and whether that works or not. So me trying out different eyes, it's me trying stuff. So I'm going to aim with this eye, so left eye, and I'm going to put the sight pin on the left. Ah, oh, it's crystal clear. It's crystal clear. It's weird as. It's weird. Because when you look, so you've got to close this eye, right? Because otherwise this eye will take over. Right. So you go close this eye. Now, if you can't close eyes, sometimes I have customers who can't close eyes, you need a patch. So like a pirate, right? You put a patch on your eye. So if this eye can't close, then you put patches on. Eventually one eye will take over. So, but when I aim with this eye, now I get no alignment. My string I see off. So I'm looking, and I'm aiming with this eye. So I see the string over here. But the sight pin is crystal clear. Now, 90 meters is very different to being 1 meter away from the target. Because here I'm aiming 15 centimeters to the right. 15 centimeters to the right is where I'm aiming to hit the target to the left. At 90 meters, it's like 3 or 4 meters. But all I need to do is move the sight pin out. I'm in business, right? So what I have to do is then train with my left eye. It's like, I'm going to go back to why I do archery. I do archery just because it's peaceful, it's relaxing, it's a thing of self-improvement. This I don't enjoy, right? Yes, it's a challenge and like it's something to overcome, but I don't enjoy it. It's like 36 arrows I shoot once a year, once every 2 years, tops. And for that, I'm looking at different arrows. I'm looking at $2,000 worth of limbs. I'm looking at another bow. And now I'm thinking about changing all the way I shoot for 36 arrows. It's stupidity. So, now, if I'm shooting this, if I'm shooting the tournament and I forget to close the eye, the arrow's going to miss the target, right? So it's I've got to prepare myself, close the eye before the shot. Yeah, I think I can do that. Okay. All right, so so my plan, which we're going to do, I'm going to do a video on it, is we're going to try super fast arrows. We're going to try 3D HVs, which are going to add 20 feet per second. I'm going to try Yucca limbs. The thing about being able to see the target, my body's stressing, I can't get the shot out, and I'm like trying to move my head, and it's all just rubbish, right? It's rubbish. So this closing the left eye, like I can feel the strain in this eye from today. It wasn't good. Yeah, look, that grouping fine. It just means I don't get the alignment, but I can feel my hand, I can feel the string, I can feel the spot. I think that's what I'm going to have to do, but we're going to try fast limbs, we're going to try fast arrows, we're going to try and make the fastest recurve bow that I can. And then if I could move my sights towards 70 meters instead of 90 meters, well, then my 70 meters are going to be good. And just on this nose issue, not being able to see, yes, I have had this problem before at 60 meters and 70 meters. Like I said, the further back it goes, the bigger the problem, because instead of aiming up there, you're aiming down here looking. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. So that's where I'm up to, and some solutions I have tried to fix it. Now you may not have this problem. I didn't used to have this problem, so yeah, I don't know, but I've had this issue before, so let's just try this out. And the group, I'll just show you the group shooting with the wrong eye, was this little group here, 3 arrows, and yeah, look, I'm at a close distance, like a meter away from the target, so it's not like, well, Stephen, that's fantastic. It's not that at all. It's I'm looking for a solution to a problem that I don't know how to solve, because I'm like, well, maybe it's my head placement, that I'm moving my head at 90 meters and I'm not getting my body in the correct alignment. Anyway, it's a problem. It's not something I've really heard of before, so it could be my old age, it could be my eyes, but yeah, there's a solution. So with that, I'm going to make some arrows today. I'm going to try a sight pin today, and then I'm going to concentrate shooting with this eye instead of that eye. And this is not something I would suggest, because it's very good to get all the alignments, track down the arrow and stuff. Like aiming with the wrong eye is not a thing I'd suggest. I'm originally left-handed, so I write with my left hand, but I couldn't get archery gear, right? When I started, there was only right-hand archery gear. Like the shops were very small. I only had a couple of bows. I couldn't afford anything as well, right? So I shot right-handed because that was what was available. The more I shot, the more I closed my left eye, the more my right eye becomes dominant, right? So now it's completely dominant. If I look at something, this eye is doing all the work. This eye is not doing much, but and how to tell that? You just point at something. You point with your finger at something, close one eye, close the other eye, and you'll see which eye is dominant. If they're in balance, they'll move evenly. But for me, it doesn't. The right eye doesn't even, when I point at something, it doesn't even move my finger. It just aims straight in the right spot. Left finger moves miles. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. My problem's shooting 90 meters. Then I'm going to build a fast bow, and we're going to see how that pans out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.